There we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Monday night Big Footy Tigercast. Hope you're doing very, very well from wherever you're watching around the world. I can say world now because we have people from Italy tuning in, from Thailand. It's all happening. So we've gone global, fellas. Hope everyone is doing well. After a pretty tough game on the weekend, it didn't go fully according to plan, but we'll get the introductions done first. CB, how are you, mates?
Good, thank you. I'm in the top end of the screen. It's normally EJ, and normally I'm down the bottom, holding up the team. But EJ's got big shoulders, so he can hold us up today. So I'm doing even better now, knowing he's down the bottom. It's good.
I'm guessing that might reverse when we have to log back into the votes after, because you're usually a bit late to the party for that one.
Yeah, true.
EJ, how are you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in the North Melbourne position.
Yeah, holding everyone up. That's right.
Yeah.
And you've got the colours to go with it in your display picture as well.
Yeah. All aboard the train.
No, I like that. All aboard trainer and friends. And look, as I was sort of talking about a little bit off air.
No, come on. That's it. I quit.
David's just inadvertently gone bang.
It's all right, AJ. You get those threatening messages that I get, those Willy Rioli type messages, mate, but apparently it's all okay.
Yeah, it's all okay. Fat controller. Get stuffed.
It was, I didn't see that. I actually didn't see that coming. But no, that's a very good display picture. And obviously Hugo did pip him for the Rising Star this week, but I was going to attempt at having a crack at Hugo and the way the Rising Star was done. But when you look at his body of work as well, he's actually laid about 20 tackles across 2 games, had some okay disposals as well. So trainer's time will come, and it's not the be-all and end-all. I think it's important to add to. It's just a nice little reward for effort. But yeah, we'll get the trainer a bit after in a bit more detail. But Jesus, he's been shooting the lights out in a big way, which has been very, very good to hear. There you go. Best background this year you've got, EJ, straight off the bat. That's very good.
Sometimes, a little bit of support, sometimes a couple of bricks to the head, a little bit of both.
That's it. First off, as we do every week, we have to kick off the show with the North Melbourne Death Ride chart for 2025, which is just ticking along very nicely here, lads. It's a good segment, and I'm enjoying where it's heading. So North Melbourne had another loss to the Bombers, only by 3 points, though. The Bombers did give us a bit of a scare by nearly letting the Kangaroos win that game, even though they didn't have a couple of their most important players. But we got the job done. I say we as a big collective, although it does hurt having the cheer for Essendon, I might add. But that takes North Melbourne's total to 7 losses, still in 17th, and they're currently still got draft pick number 2, which is ours, and they've got Brisbane Lions this week, but it is in Tasmania. Now, a few people I've seen write on various pages that being in Tasmania, North might be a chance. I don't subscribe to that. I think they'll still get belted. Brisbane are a pretty good side, and just because it's a fraction colder, I don't think will make too much difference.
They could play it in Antarctica and they still wouldn't be a chance.
It's outstanding. The one thing North can be relied upon right now is pick 2, apparently. They can't be relied to play good footy or anything else, so it's good.
And I've got a video coming out of this in a couple of days, but I'll elaborate on it here as well. The other good thing that we'll start to notice too is the teams that are sort of above North and us are starting to create some separation between where we are on the ladder. So it's actually getting increasingly difficult for North Melbourne to catch up a couple of spots. So I think at the moment, Sydney are in 14th, which is pick number 5, I think, from memory they're in. And essentially for North Melbourne to take over that spot to get pick number 5, they've got to win 3 games without Sydney winning anything because their percentage is worse as well. So the gap's kind of getting wider very quickly, and they're going to be pigeonholed to a bottom 3 pick very, very soon at this rate, which is what we want.
Jerry Seinfeld, that's a shame.gif.
Yes. Yeah. No, exactly right. So it's all sunshine and rainbows there on that front for us. Very, very good news. Now, we don't have a fitness update report that's out yet, that we had to rebrand it, but CB, you had a fines update.
I do have a fines update, yes. So a thing just dropped on the webpage, the Facebook page, saying several players fined by MRO. So basically, Tim Taranto, Jacob Hopper, Hugo Ralphsmith, Toby Nankervis, Jonty Fall, and Seth Campbell have all been charged with engaging in the melee. All have been handed $1,500 fines, which can be downgraded to $1,000 each if they accept early pleas. Additionally, Campbell and Ryan Mansell have been charged for engaging in another melee that occurred in the final term of Richmond's 65-point loss. Both can accept $1,500 fines, which can be reduced to $1,000 should they accept early pleas. So all would have been avoided if the umpire had have actually controlled, and when Sicily put our players' head into the dirt, could have all been avoided. That's all I'll say.
Yes, I was about to ask that as the counter argument. Like, at what point is there onus on the officials making the right decision to stamp that out quickly?
I mean, yeah, I've seen some commentary and people saying, "Oh, it wasn't even a free kick against Rioli." Well, it was, because he bounced the ball, and before the ball was back in his hand, Sicily had a hold of him. So that's dropping the ball, because it's the KB rule. As Richmond supporters, we should know that as much as anyone, right? So the free kick was there. Then it went low, but the first offence was dropping the ball. No dramas. The moment Sicily, the push down was one thing, but then the drag after that, the umpire should have reversed the free kick. If you don't reverse the free kick, sometimes shit's going to happen. And I'm really glad that Taranto just went in there and went pop. We're not going to win the game anyway. Stand up for the young fellas. Get in there, smack on. Hawthorn, much like we were a few years ago, Hawthorn are a niggly club. They're going back to the unsociable Hawks, and that's fine. I've got no dramas with it. But we've got to stand up for ourselves, and I'm glad we did.
The only surprise is Tom Lynch didn't get a fine. He's probably the noticeable absentee out of that one.
Bolter stayed well away as well. Yeah. He was well back. He was well back. Jonty Ford loves a scuffle. Good old Jonty. He's first in. He'll start dragging people off. And I saw that Nank held back until Watson did something stupid, and he went in and just reefed him off as hard as he can. But I'm in the same boat as you, EJ, with the Taranto flying the flag bit. And I think it might have been Matthew Lloyd, and I don't know who the other journo was that flagged that exact moment, saying that as a young club and an inexperienced club, the last thing you need is soft leadership. So they were also like praising Tim Taranto for flying the flag in that moment for Morris Jr., even though it did cost us a goal. Like you said, the game was kind of done in a lot of ways anyway. But it's more a symbolic thing, isn't it? That we're not going to take shit, especially on the younger players.
Yep. Now, Shorty was really upset with Jarman Impey.
Funny you say that. So when the angle I was sitting on, I did see a hand go across one of our players' face, and I thought someone was grabbing eyes as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, the camera angles didn't show it clearly, but I think he had Jonty fall on the ground. Impey was above, and that got really willing, and that even after the melee broke up, that conversation kept going. So it's very interesting to be a fly on the wall there.
Yeah, there was definitely something, like I said, seeing it there. I did think that he grabbed his eyes. There you go. A few people, Finn reckons he saw an eye gouge as well. James Racing said the same thing.
RFC is the same thing.
RFC, yeah. So a few people have seen it as well. And so is nothing's come of that then, has it? I'm assuming that's.
No, we're getting a derobing here. We're going to get a step-by-step from CB. He's the first layers off.
A reminder, this isn't your only
James Mason will be very excited about this.
So it's oh no, jeez. We'll have to break out some music and get some candles and the saxophone and all kinds of shit shortly. My goodness. But not interesting if there's nothing coming Impey's way then. And I'm assuming there's a raft full of Hawthorn players that would have got fined as well. But anyway, now that we're talking about the game, we'll review the game as well in totality. So Hawthorn 16-13, 109 defeated Richmond 6-8-44 by 65 points at the G. Look, I've had a little bit of time to reflect. I did leave the game angry. I was angry at the time. I was frustrated. I'd felt it was the worst I'd felt as play for a little while in terms of effort and things like that. Maybe on reflection, I was maybe a little bit too harsh. And as a lot have pointed out rightly, that the margins still probably an accurate reflection of where both teams are at. Like the Hawks are a top 4, top 6 side. We're a bottom 4 side. So it's not that unreasonable to think that that was going to be the scoreline. I guess what I was most frustrated about was I felt like we didn't help ourselves at the selection table. We said all week that we look a bit light on up front, especially with the defenders they've got. They've got 3 All-Australian defenders down there with, Barrass, Battle, and Sicily. And we left one of them to roam free, and they were just cutting everything off. And the fact Battle led the game in disposals, I think is a bit of a blight on how we went about our selection. I think we could have helped ourselves out a little bit more there.
You go, Edge. We had a good chat about this today. You go. You go with your thoughts about how they played us and what they forced us to do and then what they did.
Oh, look, I thought for the first half of the game, we did a really good job of frustrating Hawthorn. We blocked the centre lanes. Over the course of the game, their superior skill took over and they opened us up. And if CB gets the rules out, I'm done as well. And this time I mean it. This time I mean it. If the selection was only wrong because we bombed it in the way we did. Now, this has got a lot to do with the fact that Hawthorn are a bloody good side. Barrass and Battle are really good key pegs down back. So Lynch was getting double-teamed, triple-teamed all day. We weren't smart enough or clever enough or skillful enough at this stage to get the ball in low, hard, straight, fast, or whatever. We bombed it in, and therefore that game style was directly in contravention to the side we selected. If we had taken it in dirty ball, then it would have been the right side. Unfortunately, Hawthorn, and when we did go in, if you notice, our entries were all wide. Mm-hmm. There were very, very few until the last quarter. There were very few central entries. So our shots were from 45 degrees and worse, and therefore our conversion rate was really poor. And that's all down to Hawthorn being really well structured, really well set up behind the ball. So I think in retrospect, we take an extra toll, but I think we learnt more from that game, even though it didn't work out from a height perspective down forward. I think we learned more from that game. It was really valuable.
I agree with everything you guys have said. It's a difference between a top 5 team that is the talk is they're going to be close to the pointy end versus a team that's considered bottom 3, bottom 4, and you just saw the difference in, I think Uzo called it right, the polish, the skill level. They could execute the kicks that we couldn't a lot of the time, and their half back line was elite. Jaith and those boys, they cut us to ribbons through the middle, and we just couldn't stop it. And they were coming off 2 losses, so 100-year anniversary or celebration, coming off 2 losses. We were always in for a pretty tough, pretty gnarly game. But that's just where the teams are at. So I was frustrated at a few things, but I think pound for pound, they're where we've got to get to. That's what we have to be in a couple of years. That's how I see it.
I think what was frustrating for me, like that first half, the first quarter, like you said, we had one point in time where we had about 10 or 15 repeat entries because we kept turning it over, which was great. I was just disappointed that at some point in time, not one of the senior, more experienced guys thought to maybe try and change direction, shift it across the ground, and then go inside. Like we just kept bombing it straight in and sitting on top of Lynch's head. Like I understand that the Hawks did put numbers back quickly, so we couldn't really get into the leading lanes that we wanted to with the side of the ground the ball was on. But we didn't seem like we were trying to do anything to offset that. It was just like, we'll just pump it in there anyway and see what happens.
So was the lesson that we shouldn't have tried to play pretty football? We should have just scrubbed dirty ball in and back the small blokes in a bit more and just go for more contested.
I think it's a really good example of what 50 to 60 games experience gets you. So the reason Hawthorn is able to get it in so quickly is because they've got the experience now. So they've got that make the decision instantly, move it quickly. Right? We're taking it down in steps. We're not flowing down. And therefore, that gives them the extra time to set up, and therefore it ends up a bomb. When we move it quickly, we get it in okay. I saw RFC say it. I was going to save it for later. When Lawler went into the middle a bit more in the second half, and he came out of the centre a couple of times, and he ran straight, so therefore Lynch was able to lead straight, and he just hit him straight up. It's just a matter of time and experience that we get a few more legs down the road. It's not far away, and I know it's frustrating to watch, but I reckon we'll learn heaps from that game.
Correct. The coach is learning as well. Remember, Uze's 27 games into a coaching career.
I really think this weekend against an inexperienced Eagles side without McGovern, who's out with concussion protocols, we will see more of the entries come through the middle because they won't be as well set up. And we've had the experience against a really good side now. Now we get to do it against a side that doesn't have the same skill set.
Agree.
Devil's advocate for half a second. I agree. If we don't see it, though, if we still persist with the same mythology, is there any alarm bells to be rung? Are we maybe not learning as much as we thought?
No alarm bells. It's a development year. You just cannot inject 60 games experience, which changes the speed of your decisions. You just can't do it. You've just got to play them, and they've just got to make the mistakes, and they've just got to hesitate, etc., etc.
I'd just like to talk about Aaron Crease's comment. I'm the same as him. I was actually a little bit excited to see Uze get a bit emotional in the box and start to get a bit Craig Bellamy-ish. He just started a little bit pissed off, and I'm like, good.
Yeah, he got up and walked away. He got up and stormed out.
He did do a Bellamy. Yeah.
Was he going to go full Ross Lyon on him?
I don't know, but
I did note at one of the breaks, he was 3/4 time, I think. He was talking with a bit more urgency than what we normally see, than what we have seen. So maybe we're getting past the stage of now he's got 12 months of relationship with the main part of the group, that those conversations can be had with a bit more comfort.
Yeah. So no, I was pleased. I was pleased to see a bit of emotion from the man. I liked it.
We'll talk about some individual performances quickly. Jacob Hopper led all comers for us with 28 disposals, 4 tackles, 5 clearances, 304 metre gained. Tim Taranto, 26 touches, 8 tackles, which was really good, 4 clearances. They probably, again, led the way for the midfield brigade. But the third highest disposal getter, and the one that's probably impressed the most as per your background picture there, EJ, Luke Traynor, 21 disposals, 8 marks, 2 tackles, 438 metres gained, which was a team high for us. And I think he went at about 90% disposal efficiency. I mean, you can talk about the top 2 midfielders as well if you like, but yeah, Traynor, wow, the kid's super impressive.
Yeah. And as JR said, on the reaction chat last night, and it was something that I'd noted as well, is he was, forget your AFL fantasy points and things like that, the champion data game rating points where they measure impact of possession and they penalise you for bad mistakes, etc., he was the highest rated Tiger on the ground. So that speaks volumes.
It's impressive, CBs, to be in your 6th game, whatever you want to call it, to then be the highest ranked player for your team on the ground as a defender. He's doing really well.
Yeah, he's a ripper. Now, there's one player that, again, EJ and I had a production meeting with Archie Michaels, just so you know, mate. We thought we'd just behind the scenes get the knives out and do a bit of work, But there is one guy I want to talk about because his name was mentioned on the boards, and a lot of people were saying get him out. But EJ's about to stat up about Jack Ross and why he won't be getting dropped.
Oh,
so go on, EJ.
I flagged that he might make way for EJ's man, Kane McAuliffe.
But EJ, would you like to give a few numbers there? Just to sort of the case for why he may not get dropped.
Well, first of all, he was the 5th highest rated Tiger on the ground.
Yep.
Right? That's just for a start. Like he went at 92% disposal efficiency, not enough disposals, 13. I understand that.
Yep.
But we had a low disposal game, 6 contested possessions, 5 ground ball gets. Like he's doing all the right things. And the issue this particular week, and the reason I think some of the other numbers were down, although the impact was up, was that he was only at centre bounces for 8% of the game.
Yeah,
I'd like to know the reason behind that. There we go. Jones Racing. We love Wheelo. It's a really, really good stat site. So was he majorly impactful and the best player on the ground? No. But if you want to talk about players that let us down, there is a raft of players, and there's one player in particular that CV knows that I've got in the gun. Ross is not the first midfielder out in that selection at the moment, based on the data week to week. He's not shooting the lights out, but he's not letting the side down.
I think there's also been a small transition to his position too, which hasn't helped. I think I might have said it on the fan cam that he's almost being sonsied, like playing him at half forward rather than letting him do what he shows he can do well in the midfield. Sorry, Simba, you go.
And the positive side of it is he's only got 8% in the midfield, and I'd have to flick the screen again and find out. But I think the positive coming out of that is, there it is, Lawler was 44% centre bounce attendances. So we're sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul a bit, but we're getting the development into Lawler. He's getting the exposure in the centre bounce. So we're taking little bits away from Ross, but what we're doing is other people are getting the exposure that we were crying out for. We said we want to change the mix. We need more people and different people into the centre bounce. Now it's happened. Ross's numbers suffer a little bit, but his game impact didn't.
So maybe Taranto plays a little bit more forward because he is a pretty handy forward, Timmy Taranto. Now, interesting from Warren there. EJ, would you like to elaborate on how you feel Jaden Short's going, you Bambi shooting son of a gun?
I did say that until Juddy Clark is up and 100% running and fully fit, I'd hold off. But we talk about...
You did not. You said if he doesn't get done this week, you're blackouting the Tigers for a week. Don't you change?
I did not say that. I did not say that. I did not say that. But he's got okay meters gain stats, and what did he have? 15 possessions or 13 possessions or something like that. I got to find him. I've got to scroll down because he was one of the lowest rated Tigers on the ground. Jaden Short, 15 possessions. Right. If we look down back, we've got the experienced heads of Broad, Vlosten that can position people, etc., etc. They do not need. They don't pull any punches. They are every contest. They'll sacrifice themselves, etc., etc. Short is taking the outside option, the easy option. These contested numbers are really low, and some of his choices and some of his turnovers at the moment, I think that we need to give a kid a go. He's very close to getting a spell, I reckon.
Controversial. EJ sacks Short. Okay, that's your headline.
Look, if Uze's mentioned the selection integrity, and I think at some point you need to start sending the right message that just because you're a senior player doesn't mean you're an auto-select every week. You still got to earn your spot and do the right things. And if there's someone else doing those things better or can offer something more, then maybe you do have to pull the trigger.
Can you move? If Short went out, just hear me out. If Short was to go out, could you slide Mansell back in defence to bring another small forward in, or a mid-sized marking target into support while we're playing guys like John Dufour?
I don't really want to take Mansell from down forward.
I'd be happy to roll the dice on Caleb Smith, to be honest.
Oh, there we go. I didn't want to highlight particular events, but yes, what RFC said was the one that really stood out for me. I think Caleb Smith, he has the endeavour that Short currently isn't displaying. I just don't think he has the quality of finish at the moment. Maybe that comes with game time. Maybe not. I think Short is much like Bolton in that he would be really good in a side that was contending and where he didn't need to be as accountable as what he needs to be at the moment. And I think that is having an effect on what he's able to give us. Whereas players like Broad and Floston, they're naturally accountable. Short was moved to half back because he's such a good user of the ball when he's on that it gave us drive with Rioli, right? Rioli's not there. He's down there by himself. It's too much to bear.
Yep.
Another player who I thought had a really good game, albeit not massive disposals, but Sam Banks had 15 disposals at 100% efficiency, which is always a very, very good sign. 3 marks, 2 tackles, 1 clearance. I feel like he's settling into his role really well. And the other one I want to get your thoughts on as well, boys, is Tom Brown, who had 14 disposals, 9 marks, 1 tackle, and actually drifted forward and kicked a goal late in the game too, which was interesting as well.
Yeah. And again, he's had a bit of an up and down year. So he's had some good games, some bad games. And this one, he actually, I reckon he faded a bit during the game. But, yeah, serviceable game from Tom Brown, I thought. He did some really nice things. Disposal was excellent. I think did he peel one with his left foot? Was it a left foot? Oh, no, he did something.
Tom Brown, he did a ripper left foot pass off his over 3 Hawks to hit Morris Jr. on the boundary. And it might have looked fluked from some parts of the ground, but I can assure you he clearly saw him and deliberately meant that pass. It was a great kick.
There's great reverse angle. It was deliberate.
And hang on, can I just say this as well? The one thing that mystified me, I don't know why Trezise was sub. He'd had 2 really good weeks, and then he's wearing the vest.
He was good when he came on too.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. So anyway, that's just a gripe.
For me, I really like Brown's game, and the big difference between the start of the season and now is his defensive accountability. I reckon at the start of the season he was a bit off, a bit slack, and it was really evident in the St Kilda game. He was giving his defender just 1 or 2 metres too much rope and getting caught not quite there. He's now that little bit tighter and he's making the spoils. So we're not losing what he gives us when he's got the ball, but he's actually become responsible for his opponent, and we really need that. That, for me, was the most pleasing part about his game on the weekend.
It was very good. We'll skip forward to do a VFL chat just briefly as well, because I've seen a few VFL players' names pop up in chat. But the Tigers VFL team got a really, really nice win, it must be said, 25 points against Box Hill, who prior to that game were undefeated. And we were also coming off an absolute shitfest against Casey, where we got belted by 100 and God knows what. So a really, really good response. And at one point, we had the lead out to maybe 30 or 40, might have even been higher. And Box Hill were charging home in the last quarter and they actually got within 7 points. And then EJ's man, Kane McCall, stepped up with a nice mark and goal from 55 to settle the Tigers a bit. And, the rest was kind of history. We went on and won it. Jacob Bauer kicked the sealer, which was good. I'll go through some stats quickly and then we'll talk about some of the players briefly. Caleb Smith led the way, 31 disposals, 10 marks, 2 tackles. Kane McAuliffe, 23 disposals, 8 marks, 11 tackles, 4 clearances, 2 goals. I mean, he's got to be a genuine chance for selection after that. Tom McCarthy, who could be a mid-season pickup, 22 touches off the half-back, 7 marks, 3 tackles. Sonzi, 20 disposals. But the name people, the 2 names, I'll go to one name first. Juddy Clark, 16 disposals, 2 marks, 1 tackle, 1 clearance. Firstly, I thought Juddy Clark had a really, really good game. Yeah. Showed really good signs of his speed. There was a patch in the third quarter where he had about 4 or 5 important touches in as many minutes. And he was kind of blending between the wing and halfback. So you can see they're maybe prepping him for a halfback stint at AFL level, I think, / hope, because we do need that run and drive and that speed and that dash and dare that he does offer. But he was looking good. It's going to be another couple of weeks for him to get his full fitness back, I think. But he definitely put a step forward in the right direction for sure. And then Josh Smiley is obviously the other one that everyone talks about. 17 disposals, 1 mark, 4 tackles, 2 clearances. Look, straight up front about Josh Smiley, he will not be ready for another few weeks. And I think we have to be okay with it. We've got to be okay with it because there's a few things with him. And I'm finding a lot of opposition teams, even at VFL level, are putting work into him, which is quite a compliment to him, to be honest, given it's his first year. And a lot of his possessions are very close and contested, getting the handballs out, which are nice releasing handballs. He still hasn't got the full match fitness yet. I'd love to see him off the half-back line for a few minutes a quarter as well, just to use his boot, just so he can kick it, 40, 50 metres and hit some targets. But the big takeaway for Smiley for me, and I think, and I've done a video that's coming out in a few days on this, but something we have to seriously remember, the kid's 195 centimetres and probably nudging 90-odd kilos. I went through all the AFL listed players. There's only 3 midfielders that are listed at that height, and one of them's Patrick Cripps, who's a superstar. One's Henry Hustwaite, who played against us on the weekend. It's taken him a few years to get into the side. He's a bit of a twig, though. And the other one's Josh Smiley. Everyone else at that height is a key position player. So can you imagine a Joel Amati trying to run midfield kilometres in the VFL or AFL, or Harry Armstrong, or Tracy from Freo is another one of the same height and size. It's a big frame and a big body for him to get used to for the work rate required at VFL, AFL level. So I think we've got to sit tight on him. I don't think he's going to be rushed in anytime soon. I still think he's too far away.
But I'll just counter this with all the smell stuff. What's the rush?
No. I agree. No rush. Let him do his thing.
Everybody's wetting their pants. But yeah, he's still he like I saw the Hawks targeted him 3 times in separate incidents.
Yep.
On Saturday night where they physically went after him. So you're right. He's copping attention already. And he's been playing against kids. He's not going to be used to copping attention from some pretty smart footballers in the VFL system. So he's on a learning curve, and I'm zero concerns here at all, to be honest. Sims, zero concerns. He's learning. All those guys say.
We don't want to Jack Watts him.
No. You don't want to Trengrave him. You don't want to scully him. Just let him cook. Let the man cook. So So I'm not could not give it. I'm like that. What's that GIF we use on Big Footy with Leonardo DiCaprio? Who gives a shit? But let's talk about another Tiger in the VFL, Jasper Alga. What do you think?
Oof, my man, I'm claiming him just like you guys have claimed a few others. He's got AFL traits written all over him. 3 goals. Plays tall, took a really good contested mark late in the game that actually helped get us another goal for the win as well. Look, the Casey game the week before, he kicked 3 behinds, but he was still getting in the right spots. It was just shithouse conditions, but he's had a really good month of football. I guess when you're talking about who will come in and replace, I suppose the obvious name that's going to come up is Morris Jr. We'll lose speed, we'll lose some pressure because Jasper's not that type of forward, but he's probably a bit more of your medium-sized forward who I actually think will provide another marking option just coming in from the side, which I think we might need.
He's savvy. He's smart. He's really smart around goals. Like he only needs he had 7 kicks, but 3 snags. That's what we need.
I'm gonna make one of these statements. Is he one of these players that will play better upper level?
Well, I think someone made it before. Rocky made a point before. I think Smiley's going to be one of those guys. When he goes up a level, he'll play better football. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah,
I think Alga. Don't know, but I think I'll be amazed if he doesn't play in the next month. I'll be amazed.
I would too. Like he's not getting 15, 20 touches, but he doesn't have to. He's been so impactful with the ones he's got, CB, hasn't he? Like he's kicking 3 goals from 10 or 11 touches. That's pretty good going.
And did you see him? He gave Jack Frost. He was giving Jack Frost shit in the reception in the first quarter. He shushed him.
Yeah.
So he's got a bit of go in him.
And actually,
Jack Frost is a pretty big boy.
And whilst he kicked 3, there was another one he had. He got a loose ball, get about 30 metres out on the boundary, running in towards the goal. And instead of snapping for goal, he actually laced up a player 35 metres out directly in front.
Yeah.
So he's actually got really smart IQ to give off the ones that are maybe a bit more difficult when he could have been within his rights to have a shot himself. So, I'm all in for Jasper. Get him in.
Chips in.
Yep, chips in.
You bought stocks. You bought low. You bought your stocks low, mate.
Bought low, sell high. Get him in ASAP. But no, I'm liking what he's doing. And this is the thing. He's still he turned 18 at the end of December, Nick. So he's the youngest kid in the competition. But I think he got interviewed post game, and someone messaged me saying it looks like he's 12. I'm like, he almost is. Like he's not that far off. But no, he's doing really well. The other player I want to give a quick shout out to in the VFL, Campbell Gray. I thought he had a super important last quarter with the amount of times he got body on a marking contest and then recovered quickly to lay a secondary or third tackle to dispossess them when they were coming in shots for goal. I thought he was super. I thought he was really, really good and very unlucky to be dropped.
I'll give you some love that no one spoke about, but he played a bloody good game when you look at his numbers. It was Kaczynski.
Yes, very good game. Very good game.
Excellent game in defence, Kaczynski.
Yep.
You're talking Gray. Kaczynski was who's better than Gray?
Yeah,
so
100. Yeah, he was. It was Kaczynski's ability and his confidence to leave his man at the right time and impact that next contest. He was really, really solid. Had a very good game, and disposal was fine too. I reckon he was good.
Yep.
All right, so that is the VFL done. So we've done the Smiley talk. McAuliffe, are we going to try and get him in this week?
Hey Jay, you go. I'll shut up.
2 out, 2 in.
Do we want to save that part when we do the preview? Have you got thoughts surrounding that there?
Okay, well,
that's my fault.
Yeah, McAuliffe, let's get him in. Let's get him in. Let's get the boy in.
If McAuliffe doesn't play this week, dead set, I'm going to spew up. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, there'll be a few pissed off people. We'll get to the changes in a sec.
Yeah.
And we'll elaborate on that part shortly. I'll do the Harley Reid update, and then you can do Come On, Man. I don't want to catch you off guard again like I did last week. So the Harley Reid update, obviously we had C4, the Carlton post on the Big Footy board, that he had also heard that we are well into Harley Reid. Now, I know people scoff and laugh at people posting stuff on Big Footy, but I say this with a lot of seriousness that C4 is one of the very, very few posters that when he posts a rumour or trade information, you listen, because he's got an exemplary record over a span of years, and people who are on Big Footy and know his post, no, I'm not making that up. He is bang on the money 99.99% of the time. And again, similar to what we've been saying when we've been telling you all that we're interested in Harley Reid, when we're not, and C4 isn't saying that we're getting Harley Reid, we're saying that we are showing heavy interest in having a red-hot crack at it. What that looks like, who knows, with trades and all the different scenarios. But yeah, very, very interesting that he's now said it too. And funnily enough, and I didn't mention this in the video I put up, but not long after that, Cam Hicks actually messaged me and said, and he hadn't seen any of this unfold because he's not on Big Footy. He's like, I just heard again from my mate. And yeah, he's saying that we're like really going strongly after him. Have you heard anything else? And of course, yeah, that had happened in the meantime. So it's a little bit where there's smoke, there's fire. And again, not saying it's over the line, but has anyone's stance changed at all on getting Harley Reid, how much it would cost, et cetera, et cetera?
I've just got a dad joke, that's all.
Oh, go on.
C4 with some explosive news.
Yes. Now, very good. Yeah, no, we'll pay that.
Bro, come on, be better.
Go on, you go.
I think he's worth 2 first rounders. You're going to have to pay to get him. You're not going to get him with 1. People are in denial if they think, he's having a bad year, 1 will get him. Nah, you're paying 2. You're paying 2.
Yeah, my only problem is the no dickhead rule. He was very good last year. His attitude and his effort this year has been subpar. Look, maybe he's helping lower his price for us. Maybe it's all a big conspiracy theory, but that concerns me. But look, at the end of the day, if Blair and the team think he's worth chasing, they know a shit ton more than me and my crap online opinion, and I'll back him to the hill.
I was going to say, John, what about Matt Rao? Just hold off, mate. We might have something about that coming up shortly, possibly. EJ and I had a meeting, mate. You weren't there.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So the Serpil report. Do you want me to just a quick little thing? So
Is
people
it
have been
out?
asking about. Well, I've got last week's report, so I'll just go over it. So everyone's a week closer, if that makes sense.
Right.
Sandra Sully, here we go.
Yep, I've always been called slow, mate. So Samson Ryan last week was 1 to 2 weeks away with a foot. So you'd think he'd be close to a test, yeah?
Yeah, that would seem about right. Yeah.
Lafau last week was 3 to 5, so you'd think he's 2 to 4 now. Tyler Young was 4 to 6, so he's 3 to 5. Harry Armstrong, now he's an interesting one. They're saying 9 to 11 weeks last week, but all accounts are they're smacking a lot of work into him. They're still saying sort of those top of timelines, but they said he's progressing really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Dion Prestia might be in jail, so I don't know about the TBC there.
Jesus.
And Tash Houghton and Josh Gibcus, they did say in a report that we're about to get timelines on those two blokes. So everybody's sort of pissing their pants and squirting about the join over Gibcus. There's going to be timelines, but they've said from the outset they're going to really, really, really take their time with him because he's had 2 serious injuries. So they want to make sure that he's 100% good to go when he goes. They're not rushing him back. So there's the Serpil report.
Yeah, I'm really comfortable with how they've handled the Gibcus one. And it's going to be exciting to see a timeline as well. And I dare say they won't rush that piece either. But I think I'd be more concerned if he wasn't on the track during this whole duration, right? But he's been out there doing stuff, just not the main drill. So he's still been chipping away and doing the bits he needs to do, which I think is the important part. And he's probably as frustrated as everyone else is because he wants to be out there playing. But yeah, the club obviously want to hold him back and make sure they do the right thing. So Houghton and Gibcus coming back in will be very, very nice in about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, whenever it might be.
Yep.
My phone just went ping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, pretty much. From another very reliable source, Harley Reid apparently wasn't interested last year, but has turned his opinion, is what this person is hearing. So Harley Reid is interested, maybe not in 100% Richmond, but it sounds like he's, as far as coming home, it's a strong possibility.
Yeah. Good. And yeah, there's like plenty to play out in that space. And obviously there's the piece where we'd have to have him want to go to our football club as well. But it might not be as hard of a sell as what some people think, though. Like you get to play for a resurging Tigers, playing with these youngsters who you can mentor and come through the ranks with, play in front of big crowds. It's not that bad. And because we're showing a bit of heart and a bit of grit, maybe it's. I think that's the key factor. If we were just rolling over each week and just stinking it up badly, then yeah, no one's going to want to go to that. But the fact people can see, and the comments have come from people from North Melbourne, from West Coast, from Essendon, that we're not giving up. We are having a crack for as long as we can, and we're not rolling over. And yeah, it still could be a draw card.
Yeah. Yes, and you got to remember, West Coast are only going to deal with the teams that they're willing to deal with, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So it's not a question this kid gets to pick and choose. If we've got the best offer on the table, well, that's probably the one West Coast will go with. It's not So, yeah.
Now, one of you mentioned Matt Rao. Is there a Rao thing we've got to throw in here before we talk about the big game?
Well, shall we just throw to the next segment, shall we? Oh, come on, man.
Oh, if it ties into it.
Well, fair dinkum, what a week.
Oh, we had a meeting about this, Edge. We had a meeting about this.
We could do a come on, man, for the whole hour this week. What an absolute debacle this week has been. Now, Kane Corns, you want to go hard on one player in particular, and you want to. It was delivered with an edge. There's no doubt about that. Cheesy ball, and I'm really pleased that North Melbourne took a stand, and they've banned Kane and all that sort of stuff. But then Port serve up an absolute pile of dross on the weekend. The only team to lose 2 games by 90 points this year. Do we hear Rosie Ball, who was completely ineffective? Do we hear Porty Ball? No, we don't. Kane Corns, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Taron Thomas.
Oh,
come on, man. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, that's self-explanatory. Yep.
The Richmond.
I tell you what, people have. I don't know. There's a lot of nominations, and they've done well to avoid the top 5. It must be said.
Yeah. Well, I really, really, really wanted to change the top 5 late. We'll get to that in a minute. Richmond big footy supporters, have a good hard look at yourself. Like, we get the reports that Prestia and May have been, obviously, over the Christmas period, been a bit of scuffle, and there was a misreport and an unreport today. And you've got the big footy board saying, what a bunch of nothing. The police just want attention. Another pathetic attempt to beat up the club. You know, all this sort of stuff. It was a police matter. It actually happened. Pull your head out your ass and stop being so bloody precious.
Come on, man.
What round is it? Round 8? Round 7? Round 8? So. How many different players can we link to the Geelong Football Club in 1 week? How many can we do in 1 week? So we've had articles about Harley Reid. If he's coming back to Victoria, Geelong have got to be the favourite. We've had articles about Clayton Oliver. And we've had articles about Matt Rowell. Like, I know that there's a lot of farms to be bought down in the Geelong area, but surely they're running out of land if the only place that returning players are coming is to go to Geelong. Give me a spell. And speaking of the Geelong Football Club, what a disgraceful organisation they are. What an absolutely pathetic, arrogant organisation they are. Last year, year before, whenever it was, when Joel Selwood broke the record for captaincy at the club, they played against Collingwood. Collingwood lined up. We do the Avenue of Honour, and off you go, son. Yep. Right? Geelong beat Collingwood in an absolutely ripping game through the AFL/umpires' help. Right? They beat Collingwood, and then you have a guy who has broken the league record for the most consecutive games. Do you think they could bring into themselves to stay on the ground and clap off the bloke? Absolutely.
Come on, man.
While we're giving honourable mentions, can I tack on to the AFL umpire one? I want to come on, man, number 13 umpire from our game with the footage that I shared today that I'm no doubt a lot of you have seen, that there was a stoppage where Jai Newcomb got tackled and had both arms free, was able to land on one of these arms and just looked at the umpire waiting for something, and they paid a ball up. 10 seconds later, the very next ball up that the same umpire was officiating, Jacob Hopper grabs the ball out of the stoppage, has one arm pinned, like a Hawthorn player's got his arm like a chicken wing, gets taken to the ground and gets done for holding the ball. The exact identical bit of play in the same 10 or 15 seconds, and we had 2 different interpretations by the same umpire. Absolute madness, and is any wonder that Richmond fans are going apeshit at you every week when you dish up crap like that?
Come on, man.
Yeah, you listen here, you misogynist son of a bitch. Laura Kane says the game has never been better, and if Laura tells me the game has never been better, then you know what? The game is just absolutely fabbo. There's just not an issue. The metrics and all the things they're looking at, the little kids kicking balls in under 9 level, it's just it's such a wonderful experience, the AFL. Such a wonderful experience.
Yeah, game could not be in a better position.
This one might be on the leaderboard come next week. We've got to have a meeting, a production meeting about this. I strongly suggest to Port Adelaide that they take Willie Rioli's phone off him for the 24 hours following the end of a game, because this is now a couple of weeks in a row, right?
Yeah.
But so Rioli's direct message to a teammate of Bailey Dale, and the nice version of, I have a lot of friends in the Northern Territory. He should be very careful about leaving the hotel next week, right? A direct threat on a player.
Yep.
Now, you stick your finger up, you get a fine. You dress up as an ethnic cab driver, you get 2 weeks suspension. You physically threaten another player, everyone's apologised, nothing to see here, move on.
Come on, man.
This is an absolute disgrace by the AFL. They are not protecting one of their players. And we have to be very careful in the way we put it. But if the threat was in the other direction, would it have been swept under the carpet like this? This is absolutely weak from the AFL. This had to be at some level sanctioned.
It's actually staggering. It's actually so in my workplace, if I send threatening or hostile messages to a fellow team member, fair to say I would suffer some pretty serious and justified ramifications. And yet here we are when we talk about role models and all these things. We know what we've just gone through as Richmond supporters, and that was a justified outcome as well. So I'm not saying that was, and here we go, and everyone's going, sweep it under the table. Just not good enough. And this is the hypocrisy that everybody talks about with the AFL going, you guys are just making shit up on the run, and it's laughable. And this is another prime example of them not handling another situation appropriately or correctly, in my personal view.
I think that's covered that topic pretty succinctly. Watch it happen again and someone else get done for it. You can almost bookmark it. But yeah, it's mind-blowing that wasn't punished in any way, shape or form. That is of a very serious nature. That's crazy.
It could have been about another 15 come-on-mans this week.
It was a big week. As Eddie McGuire would say, what a big week it's been in football. Like, Jesus, it could be getting its own show shortly.
I don't know about that.
It's crazy.
I don't know about that.
Some weeks. Anyway, we'll push on to the big game this week. The Harley Reid Cup, we're calling it. Well, I'm calling it. No one will agree with me, but that's okay. I was going to go the Jack Graham and Liam Baker Cup, but I thought, no, you know what? We'll go Harley Reid Cup. We'll be a bit preemptive. I'm low-key nervous about this game. I think all supporters are, because Eagles haven't won a game yet, and that typically happens sooner rather than later. What was that, CV?
I said you're a feline cat.
I just don't want their first win to come at our expense. But anyway, it's going to be a fascinating clash at the G. Who are they? They've lost a couple of players. They've lost Bo Allen, they've lost Jeremy McGovern, and Oscar Allen, was it? I think one of you said as well, due to suspension for him too, Oscar Allen.
Don't know about that one, but
was that you, EJ? You said Oscar Allen was suspended?
No, it wasn't me.
No, someone told me. I don't know who it was. Anyway, that might or might not be true. Someone can correct me. But anyway, Jeremy McGovern's out at a minimum. But this is a big game. It's a big test. To your point earlier, EJ, this is a big test to see how much have we learnt and how much can we apply what we have learnt against a team that's at a similar point in time or worse than ourselves.
Bo Allen got suspended. Bo Allen.
Yeah. Okay, so Oscar Allen's playing. Right. Okay, I got the Allens mixed up. There we go.
Yes. It should have tweaked.
So how do we sit with this one, gents? Like I said, it's a game where we can apply what we've learned. What are you expecting or wanting or thinking that we should see based on what we've had happen in the first eight or so weeks? Where's the game won and lost? Talk us through what your thoughts are.
Matchup number one, I want to see Seth Campbell on Liam Baker. That will be an epic battle of angry ants. That will be absolute showtime. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I think defensively we match up reasonably well. Because it's a day game, so Boulder can play, so that's good. Oh, look, I've got to get the little cheap shots in.
Oh, goodness.
So I think with Bolter, Trainer, Broad, Vlosten down back, they've got a couple of okay forwards, but I think we match up really well down back. And overall, I know we're getting beaten and sometimes beaten by a lot, but the ball's going down there a lot. So you would think that it would go down there slightly less with the West Coast side. I think we've got the ability to hold up okay there. And if we can then generate turnovers and drive from the back, I think we're in with a really good shot.
So I remember last time we played, we kickstarted Waterman's epic goal kicking run. CB, we were the catalyst.
Yeah. Well, actually, interesting. Miller, how bad was his shoulder?
Don't know. Popped out, didn't it?
Yeah, popped out and
Ben
got
Miller's
popped back
shoulder.
in. Was that
Ben Miller on the weekend? Did it really?
Yeah, popped out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look, I think Bolter has to handle Waterman. That just has to happen. I think we pose some problems for them defensively. I really think if we can get it in, I can see Tom Lynch having a bit of a day out, if I'm honest with you. I can really see him savaging their defence. That's
so they lose McGovern. I truthfully don't know who comes in to play defensive role for them. But they've been playing Oscar Allen down back as well. So my assumption would be that Oscar Allen will probably take Tom Lynch now that McGovern's out. Would we all think that's probably the case as well?
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be awesome.
Yep. Please do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, they may have another key defender I don't know about, but on the surface from a size perspective,
physically it makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. What about their smaller players like Liam Ryan? He's obviously gone up there. Jamie Cripps. Do you see us being exposed in any way, shape, or form from their smaller forwards? I feel like we're starting to have that as one of our weaknesses now.
But the other thing is that they're not a united club. They are really disjointed at the moment, and I can just see them just dropping the bundle. I mean, because this is a game. If they're getting done pretty comprehensively or, relatively comfortably, we're winning, I can see them really dropping the bundle. This could be they haven't had a real ground zero moment yet. This could really set them on a bit of a path. And I just think over here, we've put in a shit-ass performance. There'll be a few guys like Lynch that day. Nan Curvis was down a bit. There'll be a few angry boys, a few angry ants in there. We match them all over the ground, I think, I just think we'll get them. I think we'll know.
What makes this one interesting though, EJ, is you know that West Coast have also put this in as a game that's winnable for them for their first win of the year. This is in a lot of ways the age-old cliche. This is both teams' grand final. In some instances, they'll be up for the fight, and we'll know that, and we're going to have to match it. So. It could be a hot and a willing contest early, and if either team can get on a roll, the other team could crumble.
Yeah, I think we need to get off to a good start. If you look at the weekend, early on, we actually did really well. We generated a lot of turnovers. Now, I think at the end of the day, the scores from turnover, they ended up generating more than us at the end of the game, but up at half-time, we'd done more. We kicked 2 goals, 7 from turnover for the game. They kicked 10 goals, 3. So they've kicked straight. We haven't kicked straight. If we generate the same amount of turnovers we did in the first half on Sunday, but kick 6 goals, 3 instead of 2 goals, 7, we'll be in front and there'll be no dramas.
I got
That's
one.
why I'm excited. That's why I'm excited about the game, because I saw enough on the weekend that I can see what will eventually work. It just has to click.
Do we bring in someone like Kaczynski to actually stretch them defensively? To actually bring in a guy like, or Blight, do you bring a Blight in to play second forward again to stretch them defensively? Is that something worth looking at? Now that McGovern's out, is there a way we can exploit them?
Campbell Gray would still be one that I would consider, because he can play at both ends for us, as can Blight, I guess. He can do both ends too. But EJ, I remember you saying before something about 2 in, 2 out. So just to touch on changes quickly, who are you thinking is in and out?
I think MJ needs a spell. He's not a 4-quarter footballer at the moment, and we need an even effort. We don't need a 5-minute burst. So I'm taking MJ out, and I'm bringing Alger in, debut, no dramas, and I'm putting McAuliffe in, and I've just got to go. I'm putting McAuliffe in, I'm dropping short, and I'm moving Tresize to the halfback flank, and he's not playing sub.
I think that's fair enough. And then, CB, to your point about the tall, I also do get that argument too. Like, even like a Jacob Bauer could be a name that maybe comes back in, although his attitude's been a bit shit in the VFL, if I'm being honest. But if we're going down your path of bringing a tall in, what were you thinking? What would that look like to stretch them?
Well, I don't know. Well, the back line's settled. I mean, Miller's playing solid football. Bolter is Bolter. Yeah, Broady's like the back line's pretty settled.
Is Bolter under an injury cloud?
What's that?
Is Bolter under an injury cloud? I saw that he had injury next to him on the
it was only
AFL
a
app.
light sprain.
You're right.
It was nothing.
Okay.
It was just a quick roll. It was only a half roll.
Okay.
We need that high half forward marking target just to stretch him. And yeah, I don't know. That's probably dare I say his name, but he's injured. Samson Ryan could have been handy.
No, he's not fit. He is not fit. Come on, you've got to be better than this. He is not fit yet.
So look, I think I want to see McAuliffe in. I've got MRJ still in. Law looks a little bit tired. I don't know whether Lawler's a sub this week. I don't know. McAuliffe has to come in. All I know is McAuliffe is the one that must come in. And if there's a tall, I'd probably prefer Blight or Gray over Bauer if I was to do that.
With Bauer, I love the fact that he jumps on heads, but we're trying to straighten up our entries, so we need someone that is going to lead up at the ball.
And I actually, maybe I'm being hopeful with this comment. I think Elgar can do that a little bit. I think he can push up the ground. He plays that little bit taller. I don't know what his exact height is, but I'm kind of wanting him to be like our long-term, like our Bailey Fritsch or Brody Mychek type player. I'm not sure he'll get to those heights, like physical heights, but he plays taller than what he is, and he can actually provide a little bit of that, I think.
Can I just say, someone's put a comment there. David Harris is saying that Ross didn't lay a tackle. Did he lay a tackle?
I don't think he laid a tackle. Hang on. Still got it up.
Sorry.
I don't think he did lay a tackle.
Yeah. And can I just say, for all the members of the cheer squad and the grog squad, whoever's involved in those two associations, every time Harley Reid gets the ball, please cheer. I think that would be just...
Make him feel loved. Wrap our arms around him, give him a big hug.
Do you remember when Dangerfield was playing for Adelaide, and yet when he was coming to Geelong and all the Geelong people were cheering every touch he got? We should do the same. We should just, every time Harley Reid gets it, yeah! Just cheer him on.
Shit, that'd be fun.
No tackles for all.
Well, it's a big game coming up. There's no two ways about it. They're going to think they can get their first win. We're going to think we can get our third win. And funnily enough, that if we happen to do get the win, we're going to have passed our win ratio of last year, our win amount from last year, which is a big milestone in itself, given the experience that left the door and the rebuild that we've just begun. So a lot on the line for both teams. I'm really nervous but excited. Like I do want to see us apply what we've learned to now a team within our range. Because honestly, we said this a couple of weeks ago. If you look at our draw, it's a bloody tough draw that we've had for these first 8 games. Yeah. Like they're all top 6, top 8 teams, maybe bar St Kilda. It's a tough draw. So now we finally get to come up against someone more at our level. Let's see if we can execute how we want to execute on a more consistent basis and get a bit more freedom to do so, which would be good. But with that all said and done, what's everyone's final tip, including margin for this one? CB?
Tigers north of 32 points.
Oh, you're going big.
Yep. We're great minds. Tigers by 39 points. I think once we break them, we'll break them. I think we'll have a good win this week.
Yeah, this is Ivan Drago type shit. I must break you.
Ivan Drago type shit. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'll go Richmond. I'll go by 29 points because I think Elga's going to play. There we go. Anyway, keen to hear what everyone else thinks in the comments. We've got a few. Everyone's saying Richmond though, which is nice. Everyone's backing us in this week.
I actually genuinely mean it this week.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit scary. It's like someone else put, this might be one of the few games we actually go into favourite this year.
Oh, yeah. Odds are, I actually had a look at them before. We're at 152, Eagles 253.
Right.
It makes me nervous.
If we win and Trainer has north of 15 possessions, we're going to be talking about a rising star nom next week.
Hope so.
Fingers crossed, because he thoroughly deserves it. All right, well, that is a wrap for tonight, gents. We're about to go do our votes for the game against the Hawks, but thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Much appreciated. Make sure you get around us on all the different socials and like and subscribe and comment, and we appreciate all the likes and all the tweets and stuff like that. It's all good fun and good to get everyone's insights. What else do we have coming up? I'm trying to lock in a behind frenemy lines with a West Coast supporter for this week, so hopefully we can get that sorted in the coming days. But yeah, other than that, big game this weekend, and fingers crossed we'll be back on Monday with a win under our belt, which would be a very, very nice change. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and until next Monday, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
And Brisbane, knock off North. Do us another favour.